Hey everyone, I'm Amy Granillo, and today I will be talking about my experiment, the effects of auditory distractors in the lexical decision task. So first, what is the lexical decision task, or LDT for short? It is a task used to quantitatively measure word recognition ability, or in other words, how long someone takes to categorize a word as a real word in their language. For this experiment, we have two research questions. First, how do different auditory distractions affect participants' response times during word recognition tasks, more specifically the LDT, and does music with lyrics distract participants more than music with no lyrics at all? First, I would like to establish that word recognition ability is vital for our daily functioning, as it is one of the first steps in conversations, in reading, and all of these daily activities. Previous literature has focused on the effects of emotions, colors, adjacent conversations, and other noises on how they interfere word recognition. And there have been mixed findings. Some studies find that noise really affects lexical processing, while other studies have found no significant effects. What's important here is that these studies have disregarded music when studying auditory interferences. And music can be found anywhere today, right? So it is really important for us to understand how this factor can affect our lexical processing. So we hypothesize that the participants exposed to the lyrical music condition will have longer response times in the lexical decision task in comparison to those in the control and the instrumental music condition. So for our design and materials, we had 90 students here at UNF that were enrolled in the experimental cognitive psychology course, randomly assigned into three conditions. First, we had the control condition that had no background music and no noises playing at all. We had the instrumental music condition that listened to 12 violin concertos by Antonio Vivaldi, and the lyrical music condition that had Counting Stars by One Republic playing in the background. The participants completed the lexical decision task inside toolkit.org, and all of these songs were played using spotify.com. For our independent variable, we looked at auditory distraction, and it was measured as a between subjects variable. And for our dependent variable, we looked at the average response time, which was tracked in milliseconds by the Site Toolkit system. Then we had to manually average the 10 trials that the participants completed. Participants would enter a computer lab individually and sit in front of the laptop with the LDT already displayed. They would complete their informed consent, read the instructions, and then raise their hand. The researcher would then play the corresponding songs for each condition, so either silence, the instrumental, or the lyrical song, and then ask participants to begin the LDT. They would complete 10 trials, then raise their hand again. The researcher would thank them, direct them out, and then collect the data using Excel. In the LDT, participants would see a word pair and would press the key A if both words are real English words, or the key L if at least one of the words is not real. If they take longer than 2 seconds, then the system would mark the trial as an error. For statistical analysis, we would use a one-way ANOVA to determine if there are any group differences, as illustrated by the average response time of each group. And we would expect that at least one of the experimental groups will show decreased performance in the LDT or longer response times. Where to find a significant effect from a one-way ANOVA, then we would do a Tukey post hoc test, and we would expect to find that the lyrical music condition would be the most significantly different from the other two conditions, meaning that it would be the most distractive with the highest average response time. Then our findings would support that music as an auditory distraction interferes with our ability to recognize words. This would be especially true for music with lyrics. Some of the limitations of our study include the sample origin, which was all of our college students, previous computer skills such as typing that could give the participants an advantage, study habits, and the musical preferences of each individual. Future research should try to do this study in a more realistic environment, should assess for personal factors such as the previous study habits and musical preferences, and also any condition that would impede concentration. They could also try to do this in a different medium, so not doing it in a computer, but in a physical environment, and also exploring the effects of multilingualism. Thank you so much. This was my study, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at amygranillo@unf.edu.